Okay, let's now take up right itself. Right is the first phase of objective spirit, of the realization of the concept of freedom and free will, and has three parts: property, contract, and right versus wrong. In short, property is me putting my will into a will-less thing. Contract is me taking my will out of the thing, my property, and allowing another person to put their will into the thing, which then becomes their property. Wrong is one or both of us not honoring the agreement we made, the contract, and violating each other's rights as persons. Note that our account here will also draw from Hegel's philosophy of right. First, property. Spirit, in its immediacy, is an individual, a person, which does not yet have its fulfillment in itself, the purpose of morality, but in an external thing. Recall that the will is the truth of knowing, but the will as acting must act and embody itself in an object. Thus, a person has a right over the thing. This is the institution of property. Personality thus involves the capacity for rights. The key to this part, as well as all parts of objective spirit, is therefore the person who is endowed with a will that is absolutely free and infinite, and therefore divine, sacred, and inviolate in the full meaning of these words. Being infinite and free, the person's will has and is the urge, the drive to see itself in everything, in the totality of all that is. What the person, the will, is implicitly, it must become explicitly. So it first does this by putting its will into things, which constitutes the external sphere of its freedom. Therefore, the imperative of right is: be a person and respect others as persons. Now, property has three moments which concern the will's relation to the thing: taking possession, the use of the thing, and the alienation of property. 1. Taking possession. A person has an absolute right to put his will into an object or thing. This is the right of property. For a person is an absolute end and cannot be used as a means. Cf. Immanuel Kant. A thing, because it is not a person, is not an end, and thus can be appropriated by the person as a means to his own satisfaction. In other words, in the world there are only persons and things. A thing has no will, hence no rights. It can only be a means, never an end. Things exist for me to put my will into them. I can only put my will into a thing which no one else owns, not into another person, who would then become my property, my slave. Once I have put my will into a thing and I possess it, my will now having an existence in the thing becomes my property. And it becomes such only when I seize it bodily or put my mark or name on it. This act of possession tells other persons that the thing is mine, not theirs. Hence my right to exclude other selves from my property, which is at once their duty to respect my property, for not to do so is to lack respect for me as a person. 2. The use of the thing. Simply, I have a right to use the thing which is my property, because the thing has no rights against its owner, who is a person. The thing is thus to be treated as a means and used. I am the owner of the thing's use and value. 3. The alienation of property. Just as I, as a person, have an absolute right to put my will into an object, I also have a right to withdraw my will from it. Hence, I can take my will out of the thing, for example, my money, and allow you to put your will into it. This is the basis of contract.